certainty of death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Rankin'. It's going to be a fun one today. We're talking about top 12 Sam Raimi movies, and yeah, I've got a great panel here. Got Chadwick over here. Chad, how's it going?
Going great. I'm a huge Sam Raimi guy. Yeah, I think he's one of the best directors in horror and comic books, and just in general. I love that he is always able to stick to his same style all the time and is never afraid to just be himself. So ready to rank some Sam Raimi films.
Also, I've got Eric. Eric, how's it going?
It's going good. Nothing important's happening right now in the world, so might as well be here. Yeah, he's a great director. One of my favorites. One of those that as soon as I started watching the movies that he was releasing at the time, I was watching movies, I guess. Like, oh, this guy has something, and I like it. Always fun to see him still working. So this should be good and short because he doesn't have that many movies.
Yeah.
Could we make it an 11 one? No, I'm kidding. Let's see what happens.
I heard there's a good Bad Bunny concert happening, interrupted by some football. I don't know. But how Rankin' works is we're going to go around in a panel and nominate a movie we think belongs on a top 12 list. If the majority of yeses, then we'll make the list. And just because he's only directed 16 movies so far, as soon as 4 movies get knocked out, we'll be going straight into the ranking round because we've already got our 12. But that may or may not, we may not reach that point. We'll find out. But Chad, we're going to go to you first. What was the first movie you're going to bring up?
Okay, so I'm actually still a little bit confused on the rules. What do you mean, like 4 get knocked out?
Well, if if 2 people say no to a movie, then
No. Okay.
Yeah,
Totally fair. All right, then I'm gonna start bringing up some of the best ones, I think, and I'll bring up I think my favorite Sam Raimi movie, Spider-Man 2. I think Spider-Man 2 is one of the best movies I've ever seen. It is kind of the epitome of what I think of when I think of comic book movies. Is that it has a character have like a full arc, be completely challenged, a full like 3-dimensional villain who you kind of hate but you feel for because that he's deep down a good guy. And it still has some of the best like action scenes of all time. That train sequence is incredible. You have some of the great, like, he also brings some of his horror aesthetics to the film, especially with the tentacles and stuff. A lot of that is really scary. There's some good jump scares in there. Also has like one of the best speeches in any movie I've seen from Aunt May, when she talks about like how the world needs a hero, and you do this for people who need you to be who you are. And I love how it's a villain or a hero who's trying to figure out what it means to himself to be a hero, and he kind of throws it away for a while because he finds that it's too hard, and then he sees that it's so important. It's something that's so important to have when you have the ability to help, that you have the responsibility to help. With great power comes great responsibility, and I feel like it's like the perfect movie that captures that. I think it's filmed just incredibly well from start to finish, and I think it's just the best comic book movie I've ever seen, and one of my favorite movies. It's my favorite Sam Raimi movie, so Spider-Man 2.
But Eric, what do you say about Spider-Man 2?
Yeah, easiest no that there is. That movie sucks. No, I'm kidding, of course. Spider-Man 2, probably number 1, I guess. Spoilers for later. Just such an amazing movie. Top 10 of all time for me, mostly based on nostalgic reasons and all that, but still a pretty great movie if you watch it right now. Like, has so much emotion to it. It has some of his best action direction he has made, and he has many of those. So Spider-Man 2, Like, imagine it wasn't on the list. That would be very funny. I kind of want to say no because of that, but I'm not saying.
Yeah, no, like because I only had 2 movies I hadn't seen, I have 3 movies I hadn't seen for this. So I did the excuse this week to rewatch the Spider-Man trilogy, and yeah, Spider-Man 2 is great. It's not much more that I can say that no one else has said, but it's just fantastic, and yeah, so it's an easy yes for me as well. But Eric, we go to you. What is your next nomination? Your first nomination?
I'm gonna start with one of the most unique movies on his catalog. It's not one of the often forgotten, but certainly one of those that it's not mentioned at first when you think of Sam Raimi, and I'm talking about The Quick and the Dead. That movie is just fantastic. I'm not a huge Western guy, though, that I don't like the movies. It's just I haven't seen many of those. The ones I've seen, I like pretty much, including this one. This one goes hard on his style, and it's just amazing to see. Like, I'm always at all when I'm watching the movie. It's so like it doesn't make justice for me to talk about the style, but like just watching the movie, I'm like, oh damn, he's giving it all to to a western, and it obviously has so many great actors in it. Yeah, so such a fun movie. It has to be on the list. The Quick and the Dead.
Yeah, I'm also not a big wrestling guy, but I think The Quick and Dead is pretty good. I think it's a really fun movie, and a lot of great films, especially from Russell Crowe, like Sharon Stone, and all that. And yeah, and so yeah, it's an easy yes for me as well. Chad, what do you say about The Quick and the Dead?
Embarrassingly, I've still never seen The Quick and the Dead. It's one of my few Sam Raimi blind spots. Yeah, I know. I do have it on Blu-ray, just never have popped it in and watched it. I meant to watch it for this, and if it has a lot of like Sam Raimi isms in it, then I'm sure I'm gonna love it when I finally do watch it. But yeah, this just makes me more excited to see it. That you guys are saying it's really good. So,
about that. It's going to make the list. So anyway, and it's on to me. Probably going to get to like some of these other big ones. I'm going to try for another one that doesn't get talked about as much, and that is A Simple Plan. This is a really good sort of crime movie. And once that's Jeff Goldblum. It's got a lot of great performances from so you got Bill Paxton, Billy Bob Thornton, Bridget Fonda in here, and it's just and it's really fun, and I think it's entertaining, and yeah, so A Simple Plan is going to be on the table. Chad, what do you say about A Simple Plan?
Yeah, I'll say yes to A Simple Plan. I love because Sam Raimi, like I said, is normally like a horror or comic book style director, but sometimes he'll give us something different, like The Quick and the Dead, and then also like this, A Simple Plan, which is just a kind of crime drama, which I really, really, really liked when I saw it, and I think the performances are great. And I'm actually not sure why this wasn't like awards conversation back then, because I do think it's actually really good. Like some of the performances are just really, really good, and it's just like one that kind of has you glued to the screen because of the crime elements. It just has a really good story. So I'll say yes to A Simple Plan.
Eric, what do you say about A Simple Plan?
Yeah, Simple Plan is also very unique on Sam Raimi's movies. It's the closest you'll ever find him on an Oscar conversation. This one has the only acting nomination for a Sam Raimi movie, which is odd because it has so many great performances. Billy Bob was nominated for this one, and he's great in it. So such a great movie, not as simple as it seems, but it's pretty great. It doesn't have as much flair as other Sam Raimi movies, but it's still very, very good.
It was also nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay as well. But A Simple Plan is going to make the list. But Chad, we go back to you for your next nomination.
Okay. Let's see. I guess do I go through? I mean, I'm just gonna go through and like nominate the ones that I love, just to make sure they make it on. And then get into more like niche stuff, I guess. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Evil Dead 2, the shirt that I'm wearing. It is, if Spider-Man 2 isn't my favorite Sam Raimi, then Evil Dead 2 would be. I guess I just like when Sam Raimi does a good sequel. And Evil Dead 2 is just so interesting. I think it's one of the, if not the like greatest horror comedies like ever made, because it's just so weird how it like the first movie had like such a small budget that they were like, well, let's kind of in the first 10 minutes do that one again really quickly just to sum it up, like as if we were to do it with a higher budget. And then we're going to go hard into like a sequel story, with some other characters coming in and doing more of the backstory of the one woman's dad and Henrietta and all that. And this movie just moves. It's so short, but it just moves so quick. And it's like, I don't think you can cut like, a scene or a second from this movie because it's just so sharp. And like everything that happens is just so crazy, funny, scary. And it just has like equal parts, like, comedy and horror just like blended together, that you're laughing and scared at like the same time. And I just love like the makeup effects and, how he basically like, invented shots to the ways to move the camera to, get the shots that he wanted, and how the stories that, Bruce Campbell would tell about Sam Raimi just torturing him the whole shoot, finding new ways to put Bruce Campbell in danger and torture him, which is terrible if they weren't like good sports about it, I guess. Because you don't want actors to be in danger, but I mean that's kind of like how they did things back in the 70s and 80s. So it is what it is. But it's fun to hear about like the gallons of blood they poured on him and stuff. But yeah, this movie is just so fun. It's like 88 minutes or something like that, and it just flies by, and you're just like, what did I just watch? That was one of the best things I've ever seen. Tool Shed, there you go. Groovy. Evil Dead 2.
But Eric, what do you say about Evil Dead 2?
Yeah, Sam Raimi has been hitting very well when he has to make a sequel. Most of his sequels are really good. Maybe not one of them. This one is one of the very good ones. Probably, if not top one, probably top two for me on Sam Raimi. I'm just gonna give it a yes because I love just the shot of the book, A Farewell to Arms, after he puts the hand and tries to keep it like still with the book, and that's just right on my nerd heart, I guess.
Yeah, I Evil Dead 2 I think is fantastic. Evil Dead was the other franchise I decided to rewatch for this just because I felt like I wanted the reason to rewatch it. Evil Dead 2 is really funny. And the funny thing is this only exists because the movie he made before this completely failed. It was just a big box office and critical failure. It was like but it's also a fascinating movie. It's entertaining. This is also considered a cult favorite as well. And like initially, like from what I read, like Sam Raimi initially wanted this one to be the like medieval type storyline that we'll see in the later movie that's probably going to come up at some stage as well. But it was actually the producer that was like, we wanted it to be similar to the previous movie, but which was a smart decision in the end. And and I think Evil Dead 2 is great, so it's going to make the list easily. Eric, we go to you. What is your next nomination?
I think it would be a shame if the other one didn't make it. His very first movie, The Evil Dead, should probably make the list. Like, this is very revolutionary for the horror genre. If you think Evil Dead 2 has a very small budget, The Evil Dead has an even smaller one. Like it's a very simple story. A couple of people go to a cabin and they start to get fucked up after a while. Like for especially the time it was made, for the money it was made with, like this is brutal as fuck. Very very sad if you think about it. Not at all funny in the way Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness are, but still very brutal. Still very important to watch it, even if you think it's dated somehow, or if you prefer the remake. I like the remake well enough, but sometimes you gotta like a classic, and it wouldn't be a Sam Raimi list if you didn't have the Evil Dead. But it pretty much went on to bring him his whole career basically.
Yeah, I like the Evil Dead. I'm not in love with it though. I do think it's okay. And it's just I just like the other movies I've got higher than it better. So it's just a slight no for me. Chad, what do you say about that Evil Dead?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm just a huge like classic Raimi fan, so I love the Evil Dead. It's actually my wife's favorite Evil Dead movie, and it's one of those where it kind of in hindsight feels like a little campy at times. But Evil Dead 2 is really when I got into the comedy. The Evil Dead is actually like a really legit horror movie where it's just like actually really creepy. And I think it's because they had such a small budget that everything feels so grainy and like realistic in a way that it feels kind of real. And a lot of the stuff that they were able to do with such a small budget, like having all of the limbs that are cut off and on the floor twitching and stuff like that, just makes everything so creepy. And like everything they're able to do with the book and like whatever like stop motion or whatever they were doing with making certain things look really insane. I just think it's just so inventive for a team that just basically didn't have anything. They just carried a bunch of stuff to a cabin and made a movie, and they were doing it so like guerrilla that like they didn't have permits or nothing. They were just like really just making a movie out there, and it's just I don't know. It's just like on another level where it's like you think anyone could do something like that, but it really takes, I think, like a dedicated little team to actually make something, and you could really see the early goings of what Sam Raimi could do with more money. And then you get to see that with Evil Dead 2 and then all the other films after that. And I think the Evil Dead is just really incredible. If you can get into movies that are like really low budget and lo-fi kind of really getting into the atmosphere of it. And I think it's he's a master at doing that. So yeah, I love the Evil Dead, so I say yes.
Plus, I'm sure Kiri will mood if you say no to it. But that Evil Dead's going to make the list, and it's back to me. I'm going to try for this one, see what happens. But look, the MCU in the 2020s has been getting a lot of flack, but. So some movies I think get unfairly hated on for no reason. But Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I think it's an entertaining movie. I think it's still really good. It's not as good as like the highs of the MCU, but I think when you compare it to some of the other movies that are out in like the 2020s, I think it's probably up there in the top echelon of this one. And it's just one of those ones I get a lot of people with criticism about the Illuminati being taken out so easily, because it was only there. They were only there for cameos anyway. It's like it's not like they were there for a major part of the movie. But so I'm curious to see how this one goes. But I do think this is better than what people make it out to be. Chad, what do you say about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness?
Yeah, I'm really on the fence with this one, actually, just because I'm looking at what we already have. I'm looking at the other, 7 that we can have. And I'm like, put on the UFO one, sorry. And I'm looking at the other 7 that I kind of want. and I'm like, there's two that are kind of like generally disliked or hated that I actually like, and one is this one, Doctor Strange, and I think that one actually is a pretty good movie, especially when Sam Raimi goes like Sam Raimi in it. I think it's like really fun. And Carrie and I were like losing our minds in the theater during Multiverse of Madness, and I want to say yes to it, but I was just kind of on the fence because there's another one that I was thinking about that might not make it, but I just don't know if that's one's going to make it either. Let me hold on. Let me real quick look up his filmography and make sure. I'll go ahead and give it a. This is so tough. I don't know what Eric's gonna say. Is basically the thing. I'll go ahead and give it a slight no, just to see what Eric says about it. He might put it in anyways, and just say like I really like that movie. I do understand like some of the criticisms of it. I don't think it's like one of his best comic book movies, but I do really like it a lot. And I think the horror aspects are actually pretty great in it. So I'm actually regretting saying no. I'll say no for now, and we'll see what Eric says.
Eric, what do you say about Doctor Strange of the Multiverse?
I'm gonna make it really easy for you. I'm gonna give it a yes.
Okay.
His first movie in 9 years, like probably for more of the hardcore Sam Raimi movies, you didn't want him to. I mean, for the comic book folk, like sure, like make his return to the comic book movies, and that's fantastic. And maybe you wanted him to make something more like his most recent movie, a little bit more out there. But even with the limitations of the MCU, especially because the MCU, and I often share the criticism, very often lacks style from a directing standpoint. But to bring Sam Raimi and to let him be Sam Raimi, I thought was fantastic.
Yes,
I don't agree at all with the criticism with the Illuminati. I would agree if it were more of a simple cameo or just there. But the fact that he dares to kill them is just fantastic to me. Like that's the most brutal the MCU is probably ever gonna get, and he gets to add a lot of his style to the movie with the corpse Doctor Strange he brings back to fight Wanda. You got to bring Elizabeth Olsen to the conversation. Like even if you disagree with the way her villainous turn is handled after watching WandaVision, like it's probably not very on point with the path her character was given. Like just the if you give her a little bit more Evil Dead, like that's just work. She's just pretty much a possessed woman with a very heartwarming sense of like you kind of obviously don't agree with her actions, but you kind of understand why she's making it, and that's that's a very Sam Raimi thing to do in comic book movies, and I think that's just great. I think I wasn't in love with Benedict Cumberbatch in his first movie, but in this one I think he's just fantastic, and just he got away with so much violence because a lot of the stuff getting destroyed were robots, so it kind of didn't matter. And even though as much as I love Patrick Stewart, and this is the third time we see him die, like just the stab is just like that's just great. That's what I want to see. Like that kind of violence it's just enough for me to this is one of the greats. Like not one of the best Sam Raimi movies out there, but on the limitations of having to work in a big production, I think it's one of the better ones. So I totally would have said yes. I was going to bring it up before I brought up The Evil Dead, so it doesn't matter. I'm glad it made it because I think it's great.
All right, agree. Pretend I said yes.
Yeah.
But Doctor Strange and the Mum makes the list. Chad, we go to you for your next nomination.
Okay. There's definitely a couple. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and then I'm gonna end up bringing a one of his like lesser known films, and I'm bring up Darkman. Because I think Darkman is a really interesting one when we talk about like horror and comic books in his canon. I'm trying to remember. There was a specific comic book character that he wanted to license and actually make a film about. I don't think it was Spider-Man. I think it was something else. And he couldn't license. They wouldn't like allow him to make a movie about the character. So he said, "I'm gonna make up my own character," and it kind of ends up being like this, like Phantom of the Opera type of character who's hideous and stuff like that. But I think like the love story that they have and the tragic love story that they have in this, and a lot of the different makeup and effects and stuff, I think are really good. And especially the performance by like Liam Neeson, I think is just incredible. And I just remember being like blown away by like how awesome this movie actually ended up being, because I'd heard about it for a long time and then finally saw it, and then I was like, oh, this movie's incredible. And how Sam Raimi it actually got. And I did actually notice the car, the famous Raimi car on the highway, and I was like, oh, there it is. So always got to look out for that car. Yeah, so I love Darkman. I've only seen it once, but I think it's really good, and I want to watch it again. So,
to answer your question, he wanted to do The Shadow.
That's it. Okay, cool.
Eric, what do you say about Darkman?
Yeah, I think Darkman is pretty great. It's never been amongst my unknown Sam Raimi, mostly because I caught it once on cable and I was, oh, what is this? Oh, Sam Raimi made it? I'm going to watch it. And then, this is pretty good. It's pretty crazy. Like, it's as crazy as a comic movie gets for Sam Raimi. I think it can be a little too much for a lot of people, but it's just enough for me to say, oh, this one is a lot of fun. I never doubted Liam Neeson's comedic stylings in this one. Like, it's a bit of a mix of crazy and tragic and a little bit funny. And I think Liam Neeson kills it overall. And Darkman has to make it. Like, I wouldn't have this. I'm gonna leave if somebody says no to Darkman right now. No, I'm kidding. But Darkman's pretty good. Should make the list.
Yeah. I watched Darkman for the first time last year for something. I can't remember what it was. And Darkman's good. I like it. But yeah, I'm not that high on it as other people are. But it's still a good movie. I'm still going to say a slight yes to it. So yeah. So Darkman is going to make the list, and I hope eventually Sam Raimi does get to make The Shadow, so he could see what he does with it. But Eric, we go to you. What is your next nomination?
I'm gonna vouch for the one of those that I think might make it or might not make it. I'm not sure. For The Gift. The Gift is a very straightforward film with, lots of twists and turns and all that. Fantastic cast and all that. I think everybody in the movie gives a great performance, even Keanu Reeves, in a very against type role for him as an abusive husband. I thought that's pretty fun. I think Kate Blanchett kills it in one of her. This is after she was nominated for the Oscar at first, but still getting to know Kate Blanchett, and I think she's great. This is the first movie Sam Raimi had with Rosemary Harris, who eventually went to play Aunt May, and she's great in her brief role in it. And I think The Gift, gets you really invested in spite of not doing a lot of crazy shit that I love from Sam Raimi, but I think it's pretty good. The Gift is pretty out there for a Sam Raimi movie in a sense that it's very reserved, at least for what I remember of the movie, because I do enjoy it a lot. I wouldn't expect it to make it, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. I like it better than the bottom four I have, but that could be very different for everybody else. So let's see what happens with The Gift.
I don't remember Kate Blanchett in The Gift. I remember Joel Edgerton.
She's the lead. I should have started talking about the 2015's The Gift, just for the sake of the joke. Yeah.
Look, someone was going to make that joke. Honestly, I have seen. I know I have seen The Gift once. I've not revisited it. I don't remember too much of it. I remember liking it enough, but looking at what I've got higher, I think it kind of does power. So I'm going to give a slight no. But Chad, what do you say about The Gift?
It's getting close. It's getting tight, but I think there's enough spots for the other things that I want to that I'm actually fine saying yes to the gift because I remember really liking this movie a lot. I think it just has a really cool, like, it's a crime story, a horror story, and it's sorry for all the screaming. And whatchamacallit, I think the performances are great. I love Blanchett. Keanu Reeves is if you need proof that Keanu Reeves has some range, he's a piece of shit in this movie. And if you think Keanu Reeves and piece of shit, I don't think would ever be in like the same sentence because he's such a cool guy and he normally plays heroes. And he's intense as John Wick, but he's still like a good guy in the movie. But in this, he's just an asshole. But and then Giovanni Ribisi, I think, is incredible in the movie as well. So there's a lot of great acting. I think the story is really cool. I like the horror elements, like the with the visions or whatever that she sees. I like movies that have like the what do you call it? The horror is kind of based around just seeing visions or voodoo and stuff like that. I think is really cool when stuff like that happens. This is just helps her solve the crime and stuff like that. And just and I also like stories based around poor people and things like that. I think is really, really good. So yeah, I really like The Gift. And I'll say slight yes.
That The Gift is going to make the list. And it's back to me for my next nomination. I'm going to go for this one because we've got 2 from one franchise only. Might as well try and get 2 for another one. I'm going for the first Spider-Man. And I think the first Spider-Man is pretty good. And it's one of those ones I'm pretty sure when it was announced, it was like Sam Raimi, the guy who did the horror movies Evil Dead and that, doing Spider-Man. It's but it worked. And he did a really good job of it. And I think Tobey Maguire was probably a little bit too old to be playing a school kid, but that's kind of the norm around that time. Those giving people way too old to be playing younger than they are. But I think he was still good as Spider-Man. I think he was entertained. And Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin. I think was fantastic as well, and so I'm gonna see what happens here. But Chad, what do you say about the first Spider-Man?
Yeah, I mean, to me, this list would be incomplete without the original Spider-Man on here. I mean, it's one of the movies. I think that is one of the things. It's you either love the first one or you love the second one, the most. I like the third one, but the first 2 are just incredible, and I like the second one more. But the first basically still came out. I mean, it was one of the few. You had Blade and X-Men and stuff before it, but then Spider-Man came out and set the table and set the tone for I think what a superhero movie could be going forward, so that we could get movies like Spider-Man 2 and things that would in the MCU that would come after. And then you could get big moments in No Way Home and stuff like that. I think this movie is incredible. It's just a really great hero story, coming of age story. I know people get tired of the origin stories after a time, but not everybody knew the Spider-Man origin story. And I think this one plays out so well. And I think Toby, despite being older, like Malcolm said, that was kind of the thing at the time. Even Buffy had a lot of older people playing teenagers. Carrie and I were just watching Bring It On, and we were a lot of these people are just seriously adults, except for Kirsten Dunst. Speaking of Kirsten Dunst, she's great in Spider-Man. And I think this movie just kind of is one of the movies that defined like my childhood. Being 12, watching the live action Spider-Man in theaters was just so fantastic. So this movie's incredible, and shout out to Macy Gray, I guess, right?
But Eric, what do you say about the first Spider-Man?
Yeah, I'm something of a Spider-Man enjoyer myself. It would be weird if this one didn't make it. Like, this is such an influential movie. To have a career that you have many movies that are considered influential is something else. And Spider-Man is basically what brought back the superhero boom. Like this and X-Men, of course, revitalized Marvel movies and all that. Like, pretty much this set the format that a lot of the eventual like movies that they wanted to start like a trilogy or something. Like you bring the origin story first, and you go from there. And this basically set the path for it. To the point, like, if you try to replicate it, you're doing it wrong, like with the Amazing Spider-Man. Or if you try to ignore it, people don't like it. Like sometimes with people, how people talk about Tom Holland's Spider-Man, like that happens sometimes. And this one is one of those movies that I always go back to. This and two, I like Spider-Man 2 overall better, but I think Spider-Man 1 is pretty much there with it as well. It has so much sincerity to the movie, like there's so much heart in it. Like it's impossible to not relate to Tobey Maguire in this movie. Not that he's fantastic in the movie, he's just good enough. I grew up watching Grease, so I don't mind him looking older. And he only stays in high school for like the first half hour of the movie anyway. He graduates pretty quickly in the movie, if I remember correctly. So that never bothered me. And Spider-Man just always worked for me in that sense. Obviously, the action is great and all, but one of the top 5 comic book movie scenes of all time is just the Thanksgiving scene when he figures out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. The tension and it has a little bit of everything: the tension, the comedy, and all that. With Andre slapping the hand out of Norman Osborn when he's about to grab the turkey or the food. I don't remember which specific food he was grabbing. And then figuring out based on his injuries, like that's just an amazing choice for this movie. Like so many amazing lines, of course. Like basically, you can grab any handful of Green Goblin's quotes, and you pretty much will recognize him as he said it. That's what he said. It would be weird if we didn't have Spider-Man. Like that would be crazy. Who's gonna say no to that?
But that Spider-Man is going to make the list. Got 3 spots left and 7 movies remaining. But Chad, what's the next movie you're going to bring up?
I guess there are 7 movies. Just because there's, I think, like 4 I haven't seen, which we already talked about. One that's on the list that'll get to. But yeah, there's. I feel like there's only a couple now, in my opinion, or a few now, that should make the list. And I'm going to go with, I think, the next best one that we haven't talked about yet, which is Drag Me to Hell. I think Drag Me to Hell is, because it's not, part of a franchise. It's just one movie, but it's like pretty incredible. There's one part with a cat that I don't like because I find it kind of unnecessary. And it makes me sad every time. But other than that, which it's also still a very Raimi thing to do anyways, but despite that, everything else I just think is pretty incredible with this curse that's placed on this young woman. And then, you're just kind of like, trying to see her get out of this, but like the way that, fate or the curse keeps stopping her is just, incredible. Like the effects that are used and the way they, use this, make a button creepy is just, really cool. I just think this movie is just really well done. It's really scary what they do with like the demon and stuff. But it's also, pretty funny at times. So it really, leans into the camp at times as well, especially with like the goat and whatnot. And then also it kind of like hold on. And it also leans into the promise of a specific ending and doesn't shy away from delivering that ending. So I think Drag Me to Hell is pretty great. So I'll say that.
Eric, what do you say about Drag Me to Hell?
Man, this movie has a talking goat, so how can I say no to that? Now, this movie is great. Alison Lohman gives a fantastic performance in this one. I commend Sam Raimi's choices in this movie, specifically the thing that makes her a little bit unlikable, but not unlikable enough so you're not rooting for her. But she did the wrong thing in that situation. That's how she got herself in this. And just the ending, besides not looking the best from a like CGI standpoint, I think it's fantastic. Like it makes me sad, but at the same time, like, oh, this goes hard. Poor Justin Long, I feel the most for him having to witness that, I guess. Well, obviously for her as well, but this movie goes crazy. And for I don't want to say late stage Sam Raimi, but it's pretty much one of his most recent movies still, even though it's been 16 years since that movie came out. Like this, he pretty much, even after making like Spider-Man 3, which wasn't like a success on all fronts, like they gave him enough confidence to make a movie that the movie he wanted to make with Drag Me to Hell. And so I always enjoy Drag Me to Hell because of that. It's a lot of fun. It should make the list.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones like, I think it's just a case of that, like, I think I have any confidence in a like director to make a movie that they want to make, regardless of what happened first. And with Spider-Man 3, like they probably know, like they forced things onto him, because like he didn't want Venom in the movie, but they forced him to have it. But Drag Me to Hell, I think is good. I think it's fantastic and it's easy. Yes. So it's Drag Me to Hell is going to make the list. Eric, what is your next nomination?
I mean, we gotta close out the trilogy, right? It's weird that we have two choices for that sentence in this list. But I'm talking, of course, about Army of Darkness. It would be weird if we didn't have it. I'm always struggling between Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness. I always lean towards liking Evil Dead 2 the most out of the two of them. But it's 1A to 1B. Like, it's pretty much the follow-up to the ending of that movie, like, in a sense. Like, it's probably the Evil Dead, even though it's not at his most crazy, probably at his most iconic, like, you know, the whole boomstick thing, the very end, and at the Chop Smart, Chop S Smart, and all that. I think he gets to do the things he wanted to do the most, being a little bit Looney Tunes, a little bit Three Stooges, a little bit medieval fantasy metal kind of thing, horror movie, and it goes hard because of this. I think also in Evil Dead, but even though Evil Dead 2, I think it's the better one. I think Bruce Campbell gets to do the most in this movie out of the ones he has made with Sam Raimi. I think he has that charm that it's a little bit Jim Carrey in the sense that has like a very malleable face, which I always thought was funny of Bruce Campbell. I wish he had a bigger career because of that. And a little bit of charm, a little bit of a douchebag, but hella cool, hella groovy, as he would say. Like, we gotta have Army of Darkness, if not for the fact that the artwork on those movie posters are just fantastic in Army of Darkness. So Army of Darkness has to make the list, if I say so myself.
Yeah, this is easily the second best Evil Dead movie. It's not even close. Like Army of Darkness is great. Like, this would have been my next nomination if Eric hadn't brought it up. And yeah, it's just fantastic. Chad, what do you say about Army of Darkness?
Army of Darkness is my third favorite Evil Dead movie. Well, no, actually, I forgot. There's new ones now. It's like my fourth favorite now. Actually, I think really. Yeah, I really like Army of Darkness. I think it's really fun. I like how they deliver on the promise of the end of Evil Dead 2, where they're like, you know, him trapped in the medieval time. I think it's really interesting. You know, it ends up in an all-out war between like them and the dead and stuff, and a lot of great humor in this. Like, this one leans into the humor really well, and kind of like does the fish out of water thing really cool. So yeah, I really like it. I do think it deserves to be on the list. And even though we have just one spot after this, I think this one still should make it. So I'll say yes.
Yeah, and I mean, when I say second favorite, I was talking specifically about this trilogy. I haven't done a full Evil Dead ranking yet. Maybe they'll come up when Evil Dead Burn comes out this year. But I mean, that is going to make the list, and it's on to me. I'm going to try for this one because I really do enjoy this movie. But I know not a lot of other people do. But I'm going to go for Oz, the Great and Powerful. Like we had the Wicked movies, which was kind of like an alternate sort of. Again, this is yet another sort of another kind of alternate prequel movie as well. And I think like Mila Kunis as the Wicked Witch, I think was great. I think is once again, I think James Franco was really good in the movie. I think this was just a really entertaining Oz movie from start to finish. And yeah, I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. Honestly, I always have a lot of fun. But Chad, what do you say about Oz, the Great and Powerful? You're muted.
Sorry, I wasn't able to. I'm trying to pause something and I wasn't pausing.
Yeah.
I have to rewind it. Okay, so Oz the Great and Powerful. I saw it in the theater when it came out. I haven't seen it since. I remember, yeah, it's not well liked, but I think I didn't hate it. But it's one of those where I don't know if it was really like Raimi's, thing to direct. I don't know, because it's not well received. But I don't really remember it that much to say yes to it. And there's one more movie that I really want on the list, and there's only one spot, so I'll say no.
Eric, what do you say about Oz, the Great and Powerful?
Yeah, I also I think this was the first Sam Raimi movie I actually caught in theaters, so pretty odd for me. I remember liking it at the time, but I remember it being a little bit too long. I wish I had to watch it before making this list because I need to see it again. I remember it being too long. I remember it not being Raimi enough for me. I think it's a good looking movie. Like it's all right. So some performances are good, some not as much. It's one of those like the movies I chose to not highlight on this list are the movies where I felt the least Raimi in them, and I remember a lot of Raimi in this one. And I kind of know what movie Shad is gonna vouch for in the next round, and I will probably vouch more for that movie than this one, personally. So I'm gonna say no for Us the Great and Powerful, but like I don't hate it. Like it's a solid movie.
But Oz, the Great and Powerful is not going to make the list. Chad, what is the movie you're going to bring up?
So yeah, I'm actually going to bring up the new movie, Send Help. I think I actually finally got to see this. It's really excited too. I think this movie has two really fantastic performances. Dylan O'Brien and Rachel McAdams, I think, are like two of the best actors working today, and their chemistry is amazing. And I think that what they were able to do with two people on an island, with the psychology of that, and how these characters are like really complex, and how they are able to surprise you, a bunch of times in this movie with two people on an island, I think is, really, really incredible. I'm like, is it more Castaway? Is it more Lost? Like, what is this movie gonna be? And I think it's maybe a little bit of both because it goes kind of wild a few times, and I really enjoyed this movie. So I don't want to say much more because I don't want to like spoil anything because it's really new. But if you guys haven't seen it, then I don't know. But this movie I think is really, really good and a kind of a return to form for Sam Raimi. So there you go.
Eric, what do you say about Send Help?
Yeah, I had the chance to catch it yesterday. I had a little bit of time. I had to watch it in Spanish, which kind of suck because I really wanted to see Rachel McAdams, but she's as great as everybody has been saying she is. Like just a killer performance from her. Dylan O'Brien is also pretty great. It pretty much gained my respect because the movie starts with a song that is also included in Mean Girls, which I appreciated. Probably the only person that cares enough about Mean Girls to recognize, that song is in Mean Girls. I remember it pretty well. The last song that plays in the movie, also in Mean Girls, but it's a little bit more well known, so people would know that. But yeah, it's pretty much as fun as people are saying it is. I don't know how high it's gonna make it on my list because I'm still deciding how strongly I feel about the movie, but I feel strongly overall that this one has enough Raimi for me to like it a lot. Plus the two great performances and a lot of great like action and violence in it, which is what I want to see most of the time. So Send Help is gonna make the list, no matter what you say, Malcolm. You haven't seen it. This is not your fault.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I just haven't had the money to go and see it. Well, I've managed to make time to see to catch up on some like movies that came out last year that only just released here, like Sentiment Value. There, I just haven't had a chance to go see a new movie, but it's mainly regardless of what I have to say. But yeah, but Send Help is going to make the list. This is the point of the time where I will ask if people's got honorable mentions. It's basically going to be the only 3 movies that didn't make the list: For Love of the Game, Spider-Man 3, and Crime Wave. And look, I'll say I did watch Crime Wave for this. It is a completely bonkers movie, which is written by the Coen brothers, and it's that same kind of bonkers. Basically, it's this crime movie that involves nuns and random things. It isn't I wasn't going to nominate it at all, unless we got to that point where it's like just. I mean, it had to, but yeah, but
Would have made an effort to nominate Crime Wave. Like it's bad in a weird sense, but it's not the worst movie I've seen of all time. Like it's the clear what I call it nadir of Sam Raimi's. It's not even as bad as other directors' worst movies. It's just too crazy for him to make that movie at the point he made it. Like. With the Coen brothers, which is even more odd.
Well, I mean, no, it was one of those ones. Like, it's probably a case of because it doesn't seem like a Sam Raimi movie. It's because it was with the Coen brothers. It's that like, but
it's not even that different to some of the crazier stuff in Army of Darkness. I would say, it's not on the same vein. Like, it's more of a crime movie, of course, but it's crazy enough that you say, this is a Sam Raimi movie, but it's a bit much. It's a bit much. That's what the movie is.
Well, I mean, it's one of those ones like I'll definitely watch it again. I thought it was entertaining. It's definitely entertaining. But anyway, it's time to sort of rank these. And what we have on the list, we've got Spider-Man 2, The Quick and the Dead, A Simple Plan, Evil Dead 2, The Evil Dead, Spider-Man and the Multiverse of Madness, Darkman, The Gift, Spider-Man, Drag Me to Hell, Army of Darkness, and Send Help. Chad, what do you have at number 12?
Number 12, I have. Can I throw out my honorable mention now or later?
I mean, you can talk about
the 3 movies that everybody knows exist, but are not making the list.
I really like Spider-Man 3. I was kind of hoping that maybe I could weasel it onto the list somehow, but I think this list is kind of a rare one where I think that they're all 12 are really good movies that I like. So this is actually going to be a hard ranking. Although it's actually not, because I've already ranked it on my own. So I'll go at number 12. I would probably put Multiverse of Madness.
Eric, what do you have at 12?
Just to Spider-Man 3, For Love of the Game, and Also Great and Powerful, which are the movies I had on the bottom besides Crime Wave. Crime Wave is too much Sam Raimi. The other 3 are too little Sam Raimi. Spider-Man 3 has some great stuff, but not great overall, I guess. For Love of the Game has some amazing direction on his baseball stuff, but kind of meh on the romantic stuff. And Us, we already talked about Us. I have The Gift at 12, even though I like the movie a lot.
I've also got The Gift for 12.
That was my number 8.
But Eric, what do you have for 11?
I have Send Help at 11, not because of the quality of the movie, because I haven't decided how much I like the movie. Haven't seen it yet.
I've got The Evil Dead at 11. Chad, what do you have for 11?
I actually have Army of Darkness at 11.
So we've got a 3-way tie: The Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, and Send Help. Go to the chat.
You could still vote the Had You Won at 12 at the beginning,
Yeah.
Why did you change it
Can
for
I
Doctor
just
Strange?
make it easy and just switch to send help? So I do not want that evil.
But that's not.
That's
Nope.
God damn it, Steven. So you gotta think like a politician, chat. Sometimes you don't want some stuff
What?
very low ranked.
I did switch. He didn't let me switch.
Yeah.
Because the check came up too late. Well,
Yeah.
but
That's heresy.
Yeah.
That's,
I mean, I wasn't
it's
gonna-
it's not the better. It's like we've still got the better Evil Dead in the movies from this franchise to come.
Disagree.
That's a bummer. Now we're bummed out, Malcolm. Thanks a
I
lot.
know.
I'm kidding.
Upset.
Yeah. No, you should have seen last week's show.
That was my number
not
3.
last week. Yeah, it was higher for me as well. I don't remember how many weeks ago, but I was vouching for In Bruges to be much higher than Malcolm wanted to have it on Ray Fine's
In
list.
Bruges rules.
He wanted to have it at 12, and we made it so they made it to number 3. And
Gotcha.
Malcolm kept voting from 12 to 3 for In Bruges.
The problem is I really like some help, so
I mean, but that one, like all the moves that made the top 12, I really liked. It was the similar case of two, like, because I don't hate the Evil Dead. I just like the other ones better. But anyway, I've got Darkman for 10. Chad, what do you have for 10?
I'll do Simple Plan.
And Chad.
I'm very confused because Malcolm, why are you voting lower for Send Help if you haven't seen it? What?
I don't vote for movies I'm not seeing. I don't.
But
vote
it made
for
the
movies.
list.
Yeah, but I'm not going to rank it low because I've not
that's
seen
fine.
it. I can't judge a movie if I haven't seen it.
But
But anyway,
what if it makes it to number 1 with you having not seen it? It doesn't matter.
look, if it makes it number 1, it will inspire me to want to go see it. I don't care.
Don't worry about it. It's not serious.
Anyway, we've got A Simple Plan, Send Help, and Darkman. Going to the chat. And it is going to be Send Help this time.
My boy Leo, he was the one who kept In Bruges alive. I'm gonna hate to vote for this one next, but that's fine.
Okay. That was my 6. My 3 and my 6 are gone early.
It's happened to me that my number 1 goes very early as well. Yeah, in this case, probably won't.
But Chad, what do you have at 9?
Army of Darkness.
Eric, what do you have for 9?
I have Drag Me to Hell.
Oh.
Going to Darkman. So we've got Darkman, Army of Darkness, and Drag Me to Hell. The first comment I see in the chat will decide on what ends up at 9. Don't make me go to the real. And a comment pops up. Nope. It was actually Stephen that got in first. So it's going to be Army of Darkness.
It's gonna be. God damn it, Steven. Get out of here. No, I'm kidding.
Now it's a crime to have this low. Eric, what do you have for 8?
I still have Drag Me to Hell.
I've still got Darkman.
What have we ranked so far? What's at 12?
The Gift.
What's at 11?
The Evil Dead.
The Evil Dead.
Holy shit. This one hell in a handbasket already. So we haven't done Doctor Strange.
Not yet.
Yeah, that's why I'm
Doctor
surprised.
Strange.
Why do you keep changing your vote if you had that at number 12? Wouldn't you want it
Put it
to
at
be
number
as low
12?
as possible? No, you didn't make it at number 12, but I know you voted for it first, and then you stopped
Oh,
voting for it.
I keep forgetting that it didn't make it. So yeah, Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
I still have Drag Me to Hell anyway. And I was
I've still got
confused.
Dark
The list
Man.
is crazy.
Yeah.
But once again, Darkman, Doctor Strange, and the Multiverse of Madness, and Drag Me to
Darkness
Hell.
was my number 4.
But it is going to be Doctor Strange.
That's fine. Yeah, I was gonna
Okay.
vote for it after I got rid of Drag Me to Hell.
Wasn't sure if the chat hated me or not, and I think now I'm good.
I just really wanted to have the chance to write Dr. Mom, and now I won't get the chance to write it.
I've got Darkman for 7. Chad.
I'm okay with Darkman
Um,
because that is my 7.
and Eric.
I was gonna stick to Drag Me to Hell, but that Darkman is fine. That was gonna be my next one.
Darkman is going to be at 7. Sorry, Stephen. But where is it? Darkman is Stephen's favorite Sam Raimi movie.
Oh, nice.
Chad, what do you have for 6?
I'll throw in Quick and the Dead for 6. I was going to throw in Cars. I'm sorry.
All right.
Eric,
I still have Drag Me to Hell. Yeah, I think it is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Is it? No, I could be confused actually.
Doesn't matter.
I think it is in, yeah.
It's a long title.
Yeah.
But I've also got the Quick and the Dead, so Quick and the Dead is going to be at 6.
Number 5.
Just to recap, what we've still got on the list, on the shit, still got Spider-Man 2, A Simple Plan, Evil Dead 2, Spider-Man, and Drag Me to Hell. Chad, what do you have for 5?
Oh, for me, I'll go A Simple Plan.
Eric.
I'm sticking with Drag Me to Hell.
I also went Drag Me to Hell.
That's the top 5. Yeah, actually, it is my number 5.
From 11 to 6, I wouldn't mind the placing of any of the movies, pretty much.
But Hell's going to be at 5.
Spider-Man 2, Evil Dead 2. What else do we have left?
Spider-Man and A Simple Plan.
Oh, right. Okay.
But Eric, what do you have for 4?
I got Simple Plan, but the band, not the movie.
I've got Spider-Man. Chad.
Simple Plan.
Number 3, I've got Spider-Man. Chad.
Yeah, the original Spider-Man.
And Eric.
Yeah, I also got Spider-Man.
And now we're going to vote for number 1. The other one will become 2 automatically. And ironically, the number 2 will be the number 2 because it's Spider-Man 2 versus Evil Dead 2.
Why does he have to be horrible, Stephen? Evil Dead 2 is great. If it makes it to number 1, fine.
But
Now I kind of want to vote for that.
But Chad, what do you have for number 1?
Honestly, both of these are my number 1. I could see either of them being, but the one that like I love the most is Spider-Man 2. So I'll go with that number 1.
Eric, what do you have for number 1?
I bought a number 1 for Spider-Man 2 because it was very easy for me to add the 2 now that I had already wrote Spider-Man 4.
See, I had to raise my whole board because Evil Dead 2, I think, is the greatest.
I like them around.
Nice.
I like Spider-Man 2 better.
Respect. I love that
That's
opinion.
I should have done that just to spite Stephen.
It's number 2 though. That's super high.
As it should be. Like it should be very high.
It should be because it's got 2 in the title.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2 makes me cry though. So
That's the fault of Multiverse of Madness. It doesn't have number 2 in it. It would have made it much higher if it had number 2. That's why Drag Me to Hell made it very far. That it also has a 2 in it.
Yep.
But with that, to recap, the top 12 Sam Raimi movies. At number 12, we've got The Gift. At 11, we've got The Evil Dead. At 10, we've got Send Help. At 9, we've got Army of Darkness. At 8, we've got Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. At 7, we've got Darkman. At 6, we've got The Quick and the Dead. At 5, we've got Drag Me to Hell. At 4, we've got Simple Plan. At 3, we've got Spider-Man. At 2, we've got Evil Dead 2. And number 1, we've got Spider-Man 2. But that ends ranking for this week. Next week, we're going to be doing top 12 Kevin James movies, which should be interesting to say the least.
Does he have 12 great movies?
I mean, he's got 12 movies. He's the fact he's got more than 12, but yeah. But Chad, we can build for you online.
I'm still waiting for that Paul Blart 3. Where are you at, Kevin James? Give me that Paul Blart 3. Just kidding. Thank you, Mr. Raimi. You're a genius. Thank you guys. This was a lot of fun ranking Sam Raimi. You can find me at my channel Cinema Chad. Welcome to Primetime. My buddy Dylan Randazzo runs the Dill Pickle Movie Network, where I do a show on there called Picture This, where we talk Oscars. Go check that out, and the rest of his channel. And I think that's about it. I mean, look me up on Letterboxd and other areas of movie like criticism. I'm trying to get more into that. And this was fun. I love ranking shit. So thank you.
Eric, we can move on you online.
You can find me mostly everywhere you can find these guys, at your ASATs, at your Lights Outs, at your CWTs, at your movie horror networks, at your multiplex, at your TVNT, pretty much everywhere these days. I'm glad the 12 movies that made it, I'm very happy that made it. The order, I'm not so happy, but that's fine. It's the right movies, all of them pretty good to great, fantastic even. I was just dreading somebody really, really vouching for Love of the Game, even though it's not the worst movie ever. It's the most, what do you call it? The most normal movie he has made ever, I think. It's too normal. That's not Sam Raimi. But if you haven't watched it for Love of the Game, watch it just for Kevin Costner pitching the perfect game, because the way he directs that is actually a lot of fun. This is Sam Raimi, I know. That's a lot of fun. The rest of the movie, Kelly Preston, she's good. Kevin Costner, I'm not so sure about him. Watch Send Help if you have the chance. It's pretty fun.
I mean, it was kind of like I was going to. It was kind of close for me because I did really enjoy For Love of the Game. I think it's fun, but
I know that's why I put a stop to that. No, it's fine. It's a fine movie. I'm kidding.
I mean, there's no like. In my opinion, Sam Raimi doesn't really have a bad movie. Like they're all good.
His worst is just too crazy. That's Crime Way.
Even then, I wouldn't say it's rude. It's just fine. But anyway, you can find me on Take From Productions hosting Rankin. Every week. Next week we'll be doing top 12 Kevin James movies. You can also find me popping up on my personal channel hosting Spear from the Past. I have Jacob Barber on this week to talk about TNA Final Resolution from December 2008. And I pop up here and there on the Movie Network and all that. And yeah, and you won't find me watching the Super Bowl because why fuck sport.
I forgot to plug my link where you can watch me watch the Super Bowl. It's gonna be on in a little bit. You don't have to watch it, but you can watch me watch it.
But yeah, that but until next time, keep ranking shit.